We coming to y'all with a new topic, discussing certain things biblically that people don't really know or understand or probably even agree with. You know what I mean? But we just want to give a biblical perspective on certain things, and that's why when you come to the well, you get Jesus, you get truth, you get correction. So we just wanted to do a quick pilot to kind of launch what we're about, and basically how we came to At the Well.
You want to do
why
that
we
one?
named it.
At the Well? Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we named it At the Well because if you know anything about John chapter 4 in the Word of God, there's an encounter that's amazing there. It's Jesus taking the time to go meet someone. Now, he had sent his disciples on a mission, but in the middle of the day, noontime, he decided that he had to go to the well.
Okay, from the top.
Dinner? Well, yes. So Jesus goes to encounter this woman at the well, and he kind of reads her. I don't know if that's an ending word now to read somebody, but he does it in a prophetic way, and she is blown away. She showed up with religion, and he told her that the true worshipers will worship in spirit and truth. But one of the things that he did was to tell her her story and sing her song. And through that, she realized that this man was no ordinary man. This man is a prophet. And that blessed her so much that she ran and told her compatriots or same people that were of the same origin, which is a Samaritan origin. And from there, she was the first evangelist in the Word of God. First evangelist. She was not even born again, but one thing she had to do was tell about a man who told her everything about her. That encounter is what I experienced in my personal life, and it's what Bev experienced in her personal life. And the goal of At the Well Ministries is to duplicate that experience everywhere we go.
Yes. So we want to tell you guys, like, a lot of people don't understand what it means to be an evangelist. And they definitely don't get women evangelists at all. There's this big thing with women evangelists. We are all called to bring the good news of Jesus Christ. Everybody's called to do that, including women. Go figure. And the reality is, it's about that woman expressing the purity of Christ, expressing his truth and his authority. That's what it's about, right? So we feel it is important to educate people based off of what we've experienced, the trials and tribulations that we ourselves have been through. And I mean, so much growth in just communing in the Lord. And I mean, there's so much growth that women as well as men can offer to you, so much advice through trial and tribulation. You would actually be a fool to deny it because of their sex. That's just ignorant. And you know, we didn't call it Woman at the Well because we didn't want to just marginalize women. You know, we didn't want to just focus on them. We wanted to focus on men and women because this is an opportunity to learn for everybody across the board. So At the Well with Bev and Edmay is basically that. It's just that simple.
Yep.
But I'll tell you this. We're going to give you one of our craziest stories.
Which one?
I don't know. I'm tempted between When That Got Sung to You, Jodeci.
Oh, boy.
Remember When That Got Sung All My Life to You? The whole song?
I tell you what, the kingdom of Disney has nothing on the kingdom of God. I promise you. This has been the best roller coaster. Being in ministry.
Yes.
Sharing Jesus one city at a time has been the roller coaster of our lives.
Yes.
It's amazing. Yes, there are tough times, but boy, there's some crazy times. So you're going to go ahead and share that.
Toledo, Ohio.
Oh, boy.
We're going to tell you about
Few
Toledo,
years ago.
Ohio.
5 years
so
ago.
a couple of years ago, we had decided we went to Chicago. I think it was
No,
Chicago.
that was Detroit.
Detroit. And so then we were doing a missions trip in Detroit. And in Detroit, we had decided to wash feet. We went to the homeless. We brought buckets, water, soap, and we would wash the homeless feet. And in Detroit, it just happened to be a lot of men, right? So doing that, we ministered to people indeed, but I don't know, for me it was humbling. I felt like more of a woman than I ever did in my life, serving. And there were so many homeless people who were just like, no, don't wash my feet, don't wash my feet. Like, they were so like, you know. And let me tell you about Detroit. The homeless in Detroit is different.
Yes.
They like most of the homeless we meet, they always like, gimme. They got this entitlement spirit. And I ain't with no entitlement spirit. Like, listen, my Bible says a man that don't work, don't eat. So all of this like ministry, I understand homeless ministry, but at the same time, we are called to build them up, to teach them to fish for themselves, not to just enable them and basically cater to them. But in Detroit, they was different. You know, they don't just go around saying, gimme. Like, Detroit people, they just got a different attitude in the way they move. So we love Detroit. We just love the homeless. They were just so humble. And you really realize, like, nah, these men weren't just homeless because they're lazy. They were really homeless because a lot of people in Detroit were going through a hard time. It's not really, like, Detroit is a hard city to live in because of just how much, I think, was it Obama's fault or was it before Obama?
Kilpatrick. It has a history of corruption in Detroit.
I'm talking about when they moved out the
industry.
The industry.
This was way in the 70s. No, if we could pinpoint it, I would say Clinton with NAFTA. I think NAFTA killed Detroit. It was the seal on it. And when he did that, a lot of factories moved to Mexico, and that destroyed Detroit even further. And then you have a history of corruption with mayors such as Kilpatrick, but that's what had happened to Detroit. So you have like towns that are like ghost towns, ghost areas. So that's how we found it.
And so Detroit is a little different from typical Democrat cities. I believe a lot of those people in Detroit, the city was built on workforce and through the motor. That's why it's called the Motor City.
That's right.
So when they took those factories out, they depleted that city. And it was Democrats who did that. So all of this stuff about you don't need to know politics. No.
And can I add, Bev?
Please do.
Black Democrats.
Black. Bliggity black, the bliggity black.
It's amazing. It's clockwork. I have yet to find a city ran by a black Democrat that's decent. Yet to find. And if it has some decency, it's because the state is Republican. Keep going.
That's a Fendi fact. That's a Fendi fact. Anyway, and yes, somebody said Edme is very intelligent. Y'all have no idea.
Thank you, Jesus.
Listen, Edme, she's sharp, boy. Sharp. Anyway.
That tongue is sharp right there. That you want to, over here may be sharp, but that tongue, best tongue.
Thank you, May. That's my girl. Anyway, so we go to D-Town, and again, we loved the humility of the city because we realized the people here aren't entitled. They really dealing with hard times. So they just came with a different approach than the other individuals we dealt with in different Democrat-ran cities. So we did the foot washing ministry, and then I remember I had known a dude from Toledo, Ohio, and I remember him telling me about how rough it is in Toledo. So I'm like, yo, let's pull up in Toledo. Let's see what Toledo about.
There's two things in Toledo that was crazy.
The fight?
Go ahead. I wanted to make sure you remember.
The bang gang. The bang gang.
Yo.
All right, let me tell y'all. Y'all gotta get ready for this. This is hilarious. So we go to Toledo, right? And you gotta help me with the details.
That was Mother's Day.
Mother's Day,
and we had a third friend, Jessica. Shout out to Jessica.
What up, Jessie?
Jess. She was with us.
And let me tell y'all about Jessie so y'all can get a visual.
That's right.
Jessie is like white as snow.
Yes.
Blonde, curly hair, blue eyes. I'm talking about if ever there was a stigma for white girl, she's it. You look up white girl in the dictionary, Jessica's picture's right there like this. White girl. And so we would take Jessie to the hood.
Oh, I love it.
And Jessie would just be gagging at some of the stuff she see. She's like, oh my God, wait, are they selling drugs? I just see them pass crack to each other. So
but she fit right in.
She did. Jessie fit right in. Jessie was not too stuck up.
No.
Jessie fit right in. No. She got with it. And then afterwards she be telling us some stuff that she peeped. We were like, dang, Jessie, you smart girl. So Jessica rolls with us. We go down to Toledo,
Toledo.
right? And so we parked the car,
That's
and
right.
as usual, we would find the worst area to go to, and we start walking around. You know what I'm saying? And we just looking for somebody to minister to. And then what happened?
So as we're walking around, we see the typical inner city and even dry type inner city setting.
Yeah.
So we walk the streets, and there is a young man, I think he had 2 or 3 babies in the car. And I don't know if he was on the phone. I don't know what it was, but we stopped him and we started to talk to him. And
Yes.
it was that Father's Day or Mother's Day? One of those.
It was one of those days.
Yes.
It probably was Father's Day and not Mother's Day.
Father's
I think
Day.
it was Father's Day.
Yeah, Father's Day. And so we start talking to him and say, just however the Lord does it, it's always amazing how the Lord will put words in your mouth for the situation that you face. And so as we're talking to him, he shares his heart, he shares his frustration with his baby mama.
Yes. Keep going.
And so, but we're getting somewhere. We're talking to him. Jesse's playing with the babies in the car. Something is happening. We're seeing that he's receiving the encouragement to stand as a man.
Yes.
And, in his situation, to not be discouraged. To walk the narrow way. So we're pushing, we're encouraging him.
And he's really receiving
Yes, he is.
it. And I think he had technically just got into it with his baby mama.
Yeah.
He had the 3 kids in the car, and I think it was Father's Day. No. It was Mother's Day.
Okay.
And he took the kids for his baby mama, and his baby mama was still tripping. So he aggravated because he dang, I done took the kids and everything, you still tripping. So then now when we run into him, I guess he had just finished having a conversation with his baby mom. Somehow, some way we started talking to him, and then he started expressing, his frustration.
Yes.
And so we just encouraging him and talking to him and just really just encouraging him in the Lord. It's really encouraging him as a man. You know what I mean? To be a father regardless of what his baby mama doing and all of that. So as we sitting there talking to him or whatever,
right before you say that, just for them to have
because she's
context,
good with details. I'm bad with
the
details.
back, as he's standing, the house where we are standing in front is, those matriarchs in the inner cities?
Yes.
Auntie that prays for everybody? So that's who is in that house. And so she's witnessing what's going on. She knows him from a little bitty kid. And so she's there, I think she was standing there, or she was
And I don't
right
think
there.
she was blood related,
No.
but she was literally the auntie for everybody,
for everybody in the
block.
hood.
She watched everybody kids.
That's right. And so what happens next?
So then as we standing there talking to him, some dude, I guess is
No, there's a car coming.
there's a car coming. And what happened? Come on,
It's
tell
2
me.
people driving a truck. And now the way that the one that we're talking to, I can't remember his name, unfortunately, but the way that he parked his car, right? The guys that are driving through, they have a truck.
They
And
couldn't get by.
So from there, they're honking and they get upset. And I think they even use profanity for him to move. And
And it wasn't like we was there for 20 minutes
No.
waiting. It literally was a minute. I don't even think they gave him an opportunity to move. But so they start honking the horn and they start trying to curse him out or whatever. And I really believe because it was females around, the dudes was low-key hating. And I don't think they knew what was going on. They just seen some fine-looking females around because I know I'm fine. So I know brother get a little intimidated. He was like, hold up, who that fine, beautiful black goddess right there, this little chocolate souffle talking to this dude? I'm jelly. So he's like, you need to move out the way, this, that, and the other. And so the guy, I guess, is frustrated at how disrespectful he's being. So what happens after that?
And all hell broke loose.
Hell.
Yo, she still laughs about it. This was 5 years ago. And I kid you not, we will never forget. Because a neighborhood fight literally
broke out.
Broke out.
So the dude that we were talking to gets out of the car, and then the other 2 dudes get out of the car, and they start rumbling in the streets. So before they start rumbling in the streets, though, they like this. Put them up. And both of them can't fight. This the crazy. Neither one of them could fight. So they both like this. Both dudes fists like this. Put them up. And so they hesitating to hit each other because they don't know how to hit one another. So then one just comes like this with the I guess he
They
just
have bottles. And now they're using
bottles and sticks.
And I'm pleading, please don't fight. Please don't fight.
She was crying.
I'm crying, please don't fight. And then
She was
Jesse just
crying
comes
for
in.
real.
What Jesse just do? Jesse just And it was
She didn't do like that.
Receiving. The enemy was so busy stealing the seed, man. And what were you doing?
I don't know.
You were laughing.
I was laughing, I think. And I was watching the fight and I was laughing because I'm like, bruh, neither one of them could fight. I'm like, look. Yo, he about to get the stick. Look. I'm like, oh, God, that's so stupid. So anyway, after the fight is over, we go in the house with him into Auntie's house. Yes. We help him clean up the scars off of his face. And we just start to pray for him. And I think, afterwards, Edme had said something, and I think that was the first time I seen the parallel of scripture and real life. Yes. And she said, you seen how we were sowing seeds? Yes. And then she went back to the parable of the Mark 4, a sower sowing seeds. And then she said, this was a situation where the enemy, the bird, came and ate the seed. And when she told me that, I was like, dang. That's so real. Yeah. And it was like we really were so effective in how we ministered to him. And in like a millisecond, a fight just break out of nowhere. Oh, yeah. And then the dudes was like, man, you out here showing off because you talking to them Jesus girls.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yes, that's what they said.
Oh, yes. That was, that's the cue right there. That this was the enemy wanting to steal, kill, and destroy.
Yes.
The seed.
And it was just player hating, and I mean that's just something people go through in the hood anyway. When you live in the ghetto, you just deal with the a strong spirit of like crabs in a barrel and player hating. So I mean, when we left there, after he cleaned up and everything, we left him.
Yes.
And then we went to the homeless shelter.
Yes. So we drove and we went to a homeless shelter. I don't know if we had socks. I don't know what we had. But we figured
we had leftover socks.
We had leftover
socks. We would wash these people's feet.
Oh my God.
And then give them fresh socks to put on, and they would just love it. They loved getting their feet washed.
Goodness.
I mean, some of their feet was really dirty, bro. I don't know how you walk around with a whole leaf in between your toes, but God bless you. We washed their feet, gave them fresh socks. They put their shoes on. So we had all these extra socks. So we're like, all right, we're gonna go to the soup kitchen and get them some socks.
And can I just quickly give the details as to why we came up with the idea in the first place? As soon as we arrived in Detroit that day, I think we had gone to Dearborn first. Oh no, babe, did you? I think you joined us the next day. I think it was Jess and I the first day, and then you came the following day. Because Jess and I went to Dearborn, Michigan, tried to minister to the Muslims. Yes, to minister to the Muslims there. And then the following day, Bev arrived. We were living in different places at the time. So she was in Maine, I was in New York, Jess was in New York. And so sometimes we would arrive at different times. And so when Bev arrived the next day, we went to eat first. Because you would tell them.
To eat. So this is the thing. When I travel, I understand the culture of a city based off of whatever restaurant is there. I'm going to diners, drive-ins, and dives. I'm looking at what good restaurants they got in the area. Baby, I like to eat. Okay, and I like to eat. Let me tell you something. The first 2 years of our ministry, I would be catching attitudes with Edme because this is what would happen.
Oh boy.
Edme will go all day. She'll eat a little granola bar in the morning, and we out and about all day in ministry, and she'll forget that other people are with them and they need to eat. And she just going.
She accuses me of being a slave master.
No, a slave master. That's what she is. Remember, I said this. So she just going. Me and it just wasn't me. Jessica too.
Okay,
we would be starving, and she just like, oh no. And then my sister ran errands with you when we moved. I was in the hospital, so I couldn't help her move from Manhattan when we was moving here to Tennessee. My sister said she went with Edme, and she said to Edme at some point, I want to eat. Edme totally forgot. Denisha said, I'm not going with her no more because she don't consider people when they're eating. No. When it's time to eat, it's time to eat. So we would be out in MA's, doing ministry, and at some point I would mentally shut down. So what would I do?
Babe, okay. Besides that, there would be times she's just hungry and she has to eat now. That was early on. Now you don't do that anymore because babe, tell the truth, shame the devil.
Girl,
there would be times. There would be times we would be preaching the gospel. And it hits, it's like the spirit of hunger just hits her.
Spirit of hunger.
The spirit of hunger. It just hits. And now she just checks out. So now we continue to preach to that person, whoever is listening, And I see her looking around, shaking, being frustrated. And I'm like, what in the world? I mean, the person can literally receive salvation right then and there. But it has to go all out the window because somebody's hungry. Am I right? Or no, that's how we started, right? But you haven't done that in a few years.
Emma.
Isn't that right?
We'll go all day.
It would be noon.
She want to get
noon
up
time.
early in the morning.
Noon.
Early in the morning. No. She want to be out all day with no regard for nobody's stomach, okay? No. So let me tell you this about her too. When we out and about somewhere talking, when I say I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. So I'm like, listen, God, bye y'all. God bless. Have a good day. I'm out the door. I'm ready to skate. I'm ready to eat. My mind is on, okay, it's time to eat. I'm looking back at me, still there talking, still running her mouth. I'm like, girl, I'm hungry. So then when I shut down or I snap, she like, oh, that's a spirit. It ain't no spirit. You playing games with me. God bless her husband. Maybe her husband won't like to eat as much as she don't like to eat. I need mine to like to eat, baby. Because you're not going to starve me out here in these streets. You're not going to starve me.
Wait a minute. I'm going to let that one slide.
He said Emma used to fast. And yeah, you're right. All day, all night, 10 days, 40 days, 50 days. Oh, she'll eat a leaf. Oh, I'm full. Let's go. let me, fresh spinach leaf. Oh, I'm full. Okay, let's go.
It's funny, but did you eat today? You haven't eaten today.
I didn't eat.
Thank you kindly. I haven't eaten either. I had 3 Lara bars though.
But I wasn't in it. I'm not in the streets working and ministering the gospel. When you out there in the streets.
It's a labor of love.
Shut up. Anyway, so
Anyway, so we get there, and of course, first thing, Bev has her, I don't know, Food Network, whatever she uses to find a restaurant that she wants to go eat at, because she has to test it because it was on TV, and so she has to check it out. So that's what we do. And so we arrive at the restaurant, and on our way to the restaurant, there's a gentleman who happens to be homeless sitting in front of the restaurant, and we see him. And I don't know if he.
And let me just add something. Go ahead. Oh, boy. We always end up having encounters at restaurants. I don't think Ed May ever equated eating in ministry. Well, we will have some of the best encounters at restaurants. I'm gonna just throw that in there. But keep going.
Always has to make her point. Anyways, so we get in the restaurant. We see him. We say hi to him. And I think we have actually offered him some food. And he said that he wasn't hungry, but we told him, okay, we'll get him something. That's how initially it started. Then we go in the restaurant, we order, and Jess and Bev go to the bathroom. We take turns. They go to the bathroom and wash their hands, and I'm waiting at the table. Y'all go to the bathroom, and what happened? Because that part I didn't see. Y'all came back with the idea, but what do you remember? What got you to get the idea in the first place when y'all went to the bathroom? Jessica.
Let me tell y'all, Jessica, she used to have the best ministry ideas, bro.
Yes.
Like, Jessica just used to always come up with these creative, wonderful ideas to do ministry. And she was so whimsical. Jessica was like, oh, girl, she was ditzy, but she not stupid.
No.
But she ditzy. I ain't gonna lie. Jessica be in cloud 9 all the time. I'm talking about she'll just break out and start dancing ballet.
Just like that.
But it was so effective, and it helped the ministry, so it was beautiful. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so what happened with the idea? Do you remember?
So Jessica came up with the idea, and so then I was like, all right, cool, let's go to Walmart. Walmart used to be our go-to. Walmart. We go to Walmart.
Let me see if I can remember. Let me see if I can, because this was actually good. Y'all went to the bathroom, and somebody's foot was dirty.
Me! Okay, I forgot. So the thing is, when I wear sandals, I cannot stand for my feet to be dirty. So when we went to the bathroom, I take my whole foot like this and I stick it right in the sink. I have it all the way up, and I'm like washing my foot because I can't stand no dirty feet. That's just nasty. And so I guess a woman walks in and sees me with my foot in the sink, and I'm washing one at a time. And then Jessica's like, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna wash feet. Oh my gosh! I'm like, Jessie, that's a good idea. So then, all right, that's what we're doing in Detroit.
So they come back to the table and they tell me what happened and how Bev obviously had to do the
I used to do that all the time. I still do that. I'm not walking around with no dirty feet, bro.
So as they're telling me, you remember Thomas? His name is Thomas, who's sitting outside. I think he was missing shoes. I think that's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
He was missing shoes. And so the moment they talked about it in the bathroom with Bev's feet being washed, and they remember Thomas outside without having shoes, they say, hey man, I think we should wash feet. And the moment I heard this, I said, oh, this is God. This is God. This is why we're in Detroit for. That's the whole point of us being here.
Yes.
And lo and behold, so now we get pumped. And it's Walmart time. Always. When we got an idea.
And I think did we take Thomas to Walmart too and got him some sneakers? Or I think we went and
No,
then
we went
back.
and then we got him the shoes, we got socks, we got hand sanitizer, we got soap, we got gallons of waters, we got buckets, we got towels. And I remember one thing as we were walking in one of the aisles, I remember looking at Bev and I felt like the Lord was telling us at the same time, no gloves.
Yes.
No gloves.
Yes.
We will not use gloves to do this.
We didn't want it to just be a nice gesture when our hearts wasn't in it.
No.
So we just felt like, we want to show respect by not wearing gloves and not really concerning ourselves of like really it takes a humble person to wash somebody's feet. And y'all, them some feet, boy. I think I seen toenails like this long. I mean,
And it took a minute for people to accept to get their feet washed.
The hardest part wasn't even us humbling ourselves to do it. The hardest part was getting them to humble themselves to get their feet washed.
Yes.
Like that was so. It was
At
so
first.
challenging for them, and it was like Peter. Like no, I'm not
That's
worthy.
exactly
Don't
right.
wash
That's
my
another
feet.
one.
They were so embarrassed,
Yes.
and I don't know. For me, it was definitely humbling for me to learn how to serve in that way. And I think for them, it was humbling for them to accept the service. And the Lord ministered. I feel like that ministry was for them, but it was really for us.
Yes. I recall one of the guys. So at first it was hard for them to want to wash their feet. And then once one person did it,
everybody was lined up.
another would come.
Lines.
And then
my feet washed too.
And then I heard y'all are washing feet. Why?
Why you washing feet?
It's just this is what the Lord is having us do.
He's having us. Well, can I get my feet washed?
So it was so cool. But then I do recall one man as I'm washing his feet, and he's looking at me and said, "Why are y'all doing this?" And so we tell him, "Well, the Lord is, prepped our heart to come to Detroit and be missionaries for Jesus, and that's what we're doing." And
it said it froze on Instagram.
Oh, it's not going?
Paused. I don't know why it paused.
Froze. Paused.
You're gonna cut this part
It's
out.
frozen. Okay.
It's frozen.
Is it still going?
Let me
Try and
cut
see
it
if you
off.
can fix it.
Oh, and now. Okay. I wasn't gonna post it anyway. Okay.
Let me try again.
Okay. I gotta go back live on Instagram. Instagram be acting stupid.
Anyways,
They be
it's all
playing with
hanging
our
by a
lives.
thread. It's all hanging by a
Sorry,
thread,
y'all.
folks.
Anyway, keep going.
Yeah. So as I'm washing his feet, he's asking why, he's inquiring. They're shocked. They can't believe that this is happening. I mean, maybe it's something that you do within a church setting, but to do that on the streets without any reason but the Lord, it's kind of shocking for a lot of people. But as he's inquiring, I remember him asking, "Can I ask you a question?" I say, "Yeah. Would you do that for your husband?" Now, I never thought of doing that for my husband, but I look at him and I say, well, let me put two and two together. If I'm doing this for you, I think I'd do that for my husband. And I don't know, it did something to me. Us serving in that way, I believe, wired our minds to be prepared to do that for our husbands. I recall even Bev sharing how...
See, now they're saying it's lagging there. This social media network is trash, yo. Facebook and Instagram and them is so trash. I don't know what to tell y'all. I don't know.
Yeah, there's not but so much we can do there.
Yeah, what are we gonna do? Stop the video? We can't do that. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. But I recall Bev and I, and even Jess, I believe that it did something to us as women, as single women in the Lord. It was not a problem doing this because we knew the Lord had touched our heart to do it. And that's something that we took away. There's no reason why we wouldn't be able to serve our husbands. Again, it's the Lord that we're serving, and in that we can serve anybody, let alone our husbands.
Yeah.
So that was a lesson there. So it was so many verses coming to life. It was so much of the word turning into flesh. The other one with Peter, the way that people just rejected that notion of being having their feet washed. That's a Peter all day. That's what Peter did. And then though, we would tell them, well, if you don't do that, then you have no part in this. And so then they would readily do it. But again, having the word like that come to life was amazing. So why are we saying all of that? We're saying that because on our way now, after this whole fight in Toledo, we decided to go and give out some of the leftovers that we had at a homeless shelter. And I don't know if it was an all-men home. No, it was mixed.
It was mixed. And we went there. And I guess at this time they were serving food at the shelter. So everybody's grabbing food to sit down and eat. And so the people from the shelter let us in to give away food to the people, but also we just decided, okay, we'll sit down and talk with them while they eat.
Oh, this was interesting.
And so the inmate sits next to this guy, and what he say?
So I think some dude was trying to talk. It's always some situation like that. Somebody tries to talk to somebody, so some dude was trying to talk to Bev, and I think one was upset that. Anyways,
they both got into it because one was trying to talk to me, and then the other guy was trying to talk to me. So then the other guy got upset. Because he's like, listen, I'm talking to her. Like,
and so you see this macho thing.
Oh my God, it's gonna be another fight.
But it's amazing. What we've learned to do is use those fleshly things and try and flip them on their heads.
Yeah.
And use that as opportunity, because now you have people's attention to bring the gospel. So some guy who just was talking, and now he takes me to the side. And he starts to talk to me. And I guess he's interested in talking about how, girl, you came for me. This is God. And I'm listening and I'm like, okay, buddy, okay, where is that going? And then he just stops out of nowhere and says, don't you know Casey and JoJo? I'm like, yeah, I know Casey and JoJo. I mean, they were super popular in the 90s and stuff, but what does that have to do with where we are today?
She didn't know where he was going with this.
Don't you know that song, All My Life I Prayed for Someone Like You? And I'm like, yeah. And he starts singing the song.
All my life.
From the beginning, verse 1. Not just the chorus. No. Verse 1.
He went into verse 2. You know
Chorus. Verse 2. And he was not just monotone singing this. I mean, he was
hitting notes.
He was. And I'm standing
the part that bugged me out is that she really stood there and listened to him sing.
And at the end of verse 2, I broke out laughing. And I said, I'm going to give you a hug for this. You deserve a hug and an offering. You deserve a hug. But the thing was, he was dead serious.
The fact that she sat through verse 2 is hilarious to me.
Because I couldn't believe it was happening. I couldn't believe. Don't you know Casey and JoJo? I was like, yeah, dude, what does that have to do with anything? But all of that to say.
Yo, that is still comedy to this day, bro. That's hilarious.
I wish it would have been recorded.
Oh my
I'm
God,
not doing
bro.
this justice, y'all. I just want y'all to imagine someone just singing to you out of nowhere.
We can never give y'all the stories we about to tell y'all at the well and just all this little stuff we're going to do. We can't really even give y'all the meat of the type of stuff we used to see. Because, we used to be crying.
No.
Oh, my God. Ministry that's the funnest times I've ever had in my life doing ministry.
My Lord.
Out all, when I was in sin, all the clubbing, partying, drinking, smoking, nothing compared to how much fun we would have in ministry, bro. Mad fun. And we was never so bougie that we didn't get in the grit of things. And we loved hanging with the hood rats. Baby.
No. Yeah. It's a
best
grace.
Times.
It's a grace. I'm very nitpicky, don't sit on my bed, you were sitting on the bus, why are you sitting on my bed kind of person.
Yes,
but for the gospel, I'll jump in the trash.
Yeah.
I'll put my head first in the trash.
That's the truth.
You understand? And
I'm not going to put my head first in the trash. I'll put my hand, but not my head. But I understand her heart. Praise the Lord. Bless your heart.
Because if it calls for it, we've never backtracked.
No, we have not. That's true.
We may not think of doing it, but I promise you, when the occasion rises, we don't backtrack.
Y'all, we done had to walk through some places and be smelling like straight piss and doodle. I'm like, dude.
And she puts perfume on her face, on her nose.
When we go to rough areas, I put some perfume right here on my upper lip. So now when it stink, I could do this.
And she has that face the whole time. And I'm shaking my head.
Anyway, so y'all tune in with us as we continue to come to y'all with these amazing stories of what we did at the well, and even more to come, because there's always new stuff going on.
Absolutely.
But also, we want to start teaching.
Yes.
We want to talk about homosexuality.
Come on.
Why we don't stand for it.
Absolutely.
Weed smoking and why it's a sin.
Yes, ma'am.
We want to talk about suicide.
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of y'all Christians think suicide is
a freebie.
okay. You think you could kill yourself and then go to heaven? Wrong. And we're gonna bring y'all the truth biblically. We're gonna talk about politics and why it's important to know the signs of the times.
Yes.
We're gonna talk about sex. A lot of Christians don't talk about sex.
Oh, we will.
You know, we and that actually may be our next topic. We want to talk about black people. We're gonna talk about black people, and we're gonna talk about the tribe that we come from and what we're called to do, and how the enemy has used that against us. I mean, we're going to talk about so much stuff in these podcasts. It's going to be so raw, uncut, unfiltered, but yet the truth. And so I'm just excited to get this information to y'all. And so in our next podcast next week, I don't know, y'all send me some text messages, and I don't know if send me the topic you want me to talk about. Me and Emmy to talk about, and we'll throw it up. But I'm more so leaning on either suicide or sex.
As far as topic?
As far as topic next week.
We'll see what the Lord does. We'll see what the Lord does.
Yeah, shoot us some ideas. We might, we'll pray about it and see how the Lord brings it to the table. But it's really time for you guys to understand the truth. We want to encourage you to get in your word and read it. But we want you to understand that the gospel is real life. Oh. It's real life. It's not just fluff in the church, and then when you walk out of the doors, it don't equate to your life. It does. And we're going to show you how it does, okay? So y'all stay tuned and get ready.
Yes, Lord.
We about to have a fun ride. And yeah, I'll see y'all next Monday with At the Well with Bev and Edme.
Alrighty, guys.
All right,
Bye,
you
God
press
bless.
that end button, and I'm going to press this one.
I can't even